Today, we've got this 2024 Ford Bronco Wildtrak Sasquatch, courtesy of Yark Automotive Group. So let's hop in and see what this big Bronco is all about. Wildtrak is more premium. You get two-tone navy blue and these kind of dark cream colored seats. I love this two-tone color. I love how they're vinyl as well, power operated, heated, the whole lot, and they are extremely. This Wildtrak is basically an off-road monster made even more off-roady from the dealership, because the Sasquatch package is available on this one just as it's available on every single Bronco trim. This gives you 35-inch tires with 17-inch beaded wheels, an approach angle of 43 degrees and departure angle of 30 degrees. You have front and rear locking differentials with trail turn assist that will lock one of the rear tires depending on where you steer on a tight trail to improve your turning radius. It's definitely an interesting feature. Under the hood is a 2.7 liter EcoBoost turbo V6 that puts out 315 horsepower and 410 pound-feet of torque, and on 93 octane 330 horsepower and 415 pound-feet of torque. So there's a little bit of a power bump there depending on what fuel grade you put into it. 0 to 60 takes around 6.3 seconds, which for something as large as this is seriously impressive. So the design of the Bronco, as I previously said in the past, is so reminiscent of the OG Bronco that came out in the 1960s. Starting at the front, we have this classic yet modern touched Bronco grille with the circular headlights with Bronco stamped in the middle. This one is blacked out. You have these fender flares, part of the Sasquatch package. You have these two tow hooks on the front of the hood to tie down anything if you're going off-road or overlanding or whatnot. And this one has the optional Wildtrak graphic logo on the front. Gives it a nice muscular appearance. I love this Bronco because it feels like it's more of a full-size SUV when in comparison to the Jeep Wrangler, but it's still not as big as you'd think it would be. I love the way that this is laid out in the middle. We have two big cup holders fitting a Yeti just fine. The shifter itself is kind of a leatherette material, but it's booted. I like that as well. It feels premium. There's manual mode on the side of it. We also have our GOAT modes, the go over any terrain modes, and 2 high, 4 high, 4 high auto, and 4 low, with normal mode, eco mode, sport mode, slippery, mud and ruts, sand, Baja. There are so many modes here. It's crazy, but we'll leave it in for normal for now, since we're not going to be doing any off-roading today, unfortunately. But as we come further back in between the center console, we have the window controls that are mounted in front of the center console. We also have the mirror controls to the right of that. These are power mirrors and heated mirrors as well, and everything in here is nice and premium. Definitely leading its class when compared to the Jeep. But both of these are definitely using hard touch materials, and that's good. Coming over here to the middle of we have this enormous 12-inch touchscreen running Ford Sync 4 system, and I have very minimal complaints of the Sync 4 system. Sometimes it does like to lag a little bit, but we have wireless CarPlay that connects automatically, but you also have the ability to wire it. There are USB ports up on the dashboard and below the center stack. Two grab handles on either side of the cockpit for the driver and the passenger, and in the center here there's one for the passenger as well, so when you're jumping a hill they have something to hold on to. Getting on the highway here, this 2.7 liter EcoBoost moves this thing no problem. There's minimal turbo lag. Doing any wandering, the tires aren't making that much noise, and that is a big factor here. Spending some time with it, that these tires are relatively on the quieter side, which is super surprising, so they're livable. I didn't find them to be too rough. It doesn't ride as harsh as you think it might. It actually is relatively smooth and comfortable, especially on a long trip. The one thing I will say though, that there is a lot of wind noise because this windshield is definitely kind of almost vertical. You're not going to have to shout in here because you also have these sound deadened panels in here, which really help. the driving experience. Highway visibility is fantastic. The pillars aren't that thick. I can see everything that's happening around me. The mirrors are big enough and they're power operated as well. I'm not having to face any intrusions from any of the A or B pillars or C pillars. I can see everything that's happening around me. The cockpit is open, and especially if you take the roof off, that definitely is an added benefit. But even with this hardtop on, I'm really impressed with the overall visibility in here. The windows are large and proportional with the body line, so I'm not having any difficulty seeing what's around me or behind me. That back glass, the rear headrests are not intruding in my rear visibility whatsoever, so Ford has done a fantastic job with that. Big tires and putting it through a roundabout. Let's see. Definitely feel that body roll. There is absolutely some body roll and some nosedive as you dab on the brakes. That just makes it fun. It's like you're driving a big go-kart almost. You can really push this thing, even in the corners. It's not built to corner, but you know that there's something so sacrilegious about putting this in a corner, but you have wide enough tires where you're not going to lose any stability. You're going to float around a little bit, but it's just so fun. Of course, another amazing thing about this Ford Bronco, being that it's bigger and wider, is the fact that you have 35.6 cubic feet of cargo room in the back. So obviously it's a two-row SUV, but there you can fit off-road equipment back there. It comes with its own jack underneath the storage compartment behind the second row, just in case if you need to change a tire. Everything's right there for you. So if you're interested in this Ford Bronco or want to see more like it, be sure to follow our social media pages as well as our YouTube page so you don't miss any videos like this one. As always, from Yark Automotive Group, I am Nicholas Bishop, and I'll catch you in the next one. Remember, at Yark Auto, we've got just what you're looking for.